Hey guys, it's Michelle from Cozyegg, and this is episode 17. Today is Wednesday, September 7th. So it's the week of Labor Day for those of you in the U.S. And thanks for joining. I wanted to take a minute and say a special thanks to everybody that commented or sent me notes, reached out to me, etc. After my last video, and I can't thank you guys enough. You were so sweet. Obviously I was having a really tough time, and I thought long and hard about just deleting it after I recorded it, because I really like to, try to stay positive and, all of that. So I really thought about deleting it and re-recording, but then there were some things in the video that I thought were worthwhile. So anyway, real life, you get what you get. But anyway, I did want to take a minute to just say thank you to all of you that reached out to me with some very sweet comments and support, and it was very much appreciated. So here we are, September. I can hardly believe it. And let me just say that in the 2 weeks since I recorded, I've worked really hard to try to make some attitude adjustments. So a change of scenery today, so I'm facing a different way. This time I just thought, it's been a while since I sat on this side of the table, so a little change of scenery. Sorry, I keep saying and so much. Anyway, late last week, I did have a long discussion with my temporary boss, and she really highly encouraged me to take some time off. So I decided to take this whole week off. I actually have 3 weeks worth of vacation time that I have not touched so far this year. And I really hate to do like I did last year, which is, get into November and I still have 3 weeks of vacation I need to take. So I decided to just go ahead and take this week as a vacation week. So doing it with the combined holiday on Monday allowed me to basically have 9 days off of work and only use 4 vacation days to do it. So with the weekends and the holiday and everything, I just couldn't pass it up. So it's amazing what a few days off work will do for you. So I was very appreciative of her encouraging me to do that, and she is fantastic, and I appreciated being able to speak bluntly with her, and she could tell I'd really hit kind of the end of my rope. So anyway, so change of scenery, change of attitude, got some sleep. Anyway, so if you are joining for the very first time, all of that was gibberish, so just ignore. But if you are here for the first time, I am Michelle, also known as Cozyegg, and you can find me on all of the places as Cozyegg. You can find my blog at cozyegg.cozyeggdesigns.com. You can also just go to CozyEggDesigns.com and get to my Cozyegg blog from there. My Cozyegg blog is my craft blog, craft related stuff. My Cozy Style blog is more lifestyle stuff, books and movies and what have you, fashion and, you know, all that good stuff. So anyway, that's where you can find me. This is episode 17. I think I've already said that. And today is the 7th of September. So let's jump right into it. So finishes, I have no finishes to share with you. But I do have a few things that I do want to share. I decided the other day, you know, I have a bunch of finished pieces that hang on a hanger in a closet, waiting for some, you know, miraculous day when I win the lottery and can afford to have all of them professionally framed. That day has not yet come. So I decided the other day that I would really like to have those pieces out where I can enjoy them and appreciate them and see them. And so even if I do some sort of temporary, you know, arrangement, at least I would have them out and I can enjoy them and say, hey, I do actually finish things. So I went scavenging around the house, and because of course, you know, with Eric being a photographer and you know, me having a BFA in art history, we have tons of frames around the house. And I switch things out all the time. We have a lot of artwork up, we have a lot of photographs up, etc. So I went scavenging for frames the other day and found a few frames that would work for some pieces. And so I spent the past couple of days doing a little bit of framing. And my intention is to continue with, you know, finding frames that I already have, or perhaps purchasing some relatively inexpensive ready-made frames and framing some of my stuff. And even if it's temporary, and even if it's not perfect because I'm having to do it myself, and also because I'm having to use ready-made frames, which aren't going to necessarily be the right size that I need, even with all of that, it would still allow me to have my pieces framed and up on the wall where I can enjoy them and appreciate them. So with that said, here's what I worked on. So I thought I would start with a small piece and see how that went before I got too excited. So, and I'm going to try to do this without too much glare because these are all under glass. So, this piece is, obviously it's a sugar skull, which I love. And let's see, so this is, I finished this in 2012. So it's been in the closet for that length of time. And I absolutely love it. The colors are actually a little brighter than what you're seeing, but of course you're seeing lots of, that's a little better. You're seeing a lot of reflection too, so sorry about that. But that green is actually much brighter green, and you can see that blue in the nose. So this is Sugar Skull version 5 by Christy Kizzy, Kizzee, also known as Bomba Stitch on Etsy. And this was actually a birthday gift from a friend of mine. She purchased the chart for me and the threads and the fabric and gave that all to me that year for my birthday. And I was so excited to pull this out and stitch it up, and I thoroughly enjoyed every stitch in it. This was a lot of fun to stitch, but obviously since this is version 5, as you can imagine, she has several other Sugar Skull versions that are out there, and I just love this. It's just too fun. So anyway, this is on, it's DMC on 40 count weeks cocoa is the linen. And as you can see, I just put it in this kind of bronzy kind of frame that I thought worked. So yay, framing number 1. So from there, I decided to, okay, this is gonna work. I can work with this. So then I went bigger. And so I've got 2 other pieces that I did. So since I showed you the Sugar Skull, I will show you this one next. This is also a Halloween piece. So this is Garden of Erie. And yeah, there's my name. Anyway, this is Garden of Erie by Plum Street Samplers, and I finished this also in, oh, this was 2011 actually when I finished this, and this is DMC on 36 count vintage light exemplar. And so, you know, I talked last time about the Rampant Cat sampler, and that being kind of a twist on an Adam and Eve, and how I, you know, collect Adam and Eve pieces and love to stitch them. So this is also, as you can see, a twist on Adam and Eve. And of course you've got Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein there, the serpent hanging down from the tree. She's got the apple in her hand. And I love the vultures. I love the green clouds. The green clouds with the lightning bolts are just, I loved stitching those. So this was a super fun piece to stitch. And some of what you're seeing in here, these are not actual like wrinkles in the fabric. They're actually, I'm not saying that my framing is perfect, but a lot of what you're seeing here is the over dye on the fabric. So that vintage kind of mottled look, that's what you're seeing here. So anyway, so there's my piece all framed, and I love it. Love, love, love it. And when I framed it, I'm really trying not to get the other light reflection in here. When I framed it, I purposefully framed it off center because I wanted this to be closer to the frame here and have a lot more negative space up here at the top. So I did that on purpose. I love the way that it turned out. And this is also, you can see this is it's a play on, you know, reproduction samplers, which often will say, you know, this was wrought by, meaning made by, stitched by, wrought, W-R-O-U-G-T-H, wrought by who else, you know, whoever. And so Paulette actually did a little play on that, and it's wrought, R-O-T. So I love this piece. Oh, and there you can see 2011. I love this piece. I had so much fun stitching it, and I will link on my blog in the show notes. I will link to my original blog post about this. because it talks a lot about, you know, and you can see more of the detailed pictures, but it talks a lot about this little guy who, you know, I could not for the life of me determine what sort of animal this might be. Eric and I decided that it was a zebra beagle because it's striped, but it looks like a dog. So zebra beagle with the raven or the crow sitting on his back, which I just love. So fun. Anyway, I'm so happy to have this framed. I'm thrilled to have it framed, so I can't wait to hang this up. And this will hang all year long because that's the way we do things in my house. Is, you know, creepy stays out all year. So, and same with the sugar skull. So, those are the first two pieces that I got done. And then the third piece, this is, speaking of reproduction samplers, so this is Isabella. Isabella Johnstone, as you can see here, wrought this 1854. So I love this piece. Love, love, love this piece. I had so much fun stitching this sampler. I really did. And so this is a reproduction sampler. It's a reproduction of an antique. And this is done by Needlework Press. And it was actually it was originally published in Sampler and Antique Needlework Quarterly, which sadly is no more. And I believe it was in the summer 2010 issue. And so I finished this in August of 2012, actually. And I want to say I started her in 2011, maybe. Because I don't think I started her right away. I think it was 2011. But anyway, I just fell in love with this piece when I saw it with this red cow. And really the clincher for me is this M. Roden, because Roden is a family name. And so that really got me. I really wanted to stitch this. I'd never seen another sampler with the name Roden on it. So I love, love, love this. And again, you know, this is the vintage effect from the dyeing of the fabric. It is not wrinkles in the fabric. Trust me, because I ironed the hell out of that thing. So, not wrinkles. Anyway, but I just love her. And I'm so, so, so thrilled to have her framed. So thrilled. And there's a whole blog post about her on my blog, and I will link to that in the show notes when I post this video, so that you can go and see some photos of her and a little bit more of the detail on her. But she's just such a sweet piece, and I just love her. I really do. I know I've said that like 8,000 times now. But this was stitched with Belle Soie silk on 40 count vintage lentil by Lakeside Linens. So it's Isabella Johnstone, 1854, Needlework Press. And I believe, like I said, this was originally published in Sampler and Antique Needlework Quarterly, but I believe that you can now buy this chart for it. Love her. Absolutely love her. So anyway, oh, and the fun story about this, I may have mentioned this the last time I showed her. if I showed her. I don't remember. Anyway, you may not have ever seen her on a video. When I went to the attic a couple years ago for their summer symposium, soiree, whatever thing, Vicky from Needlework Press is one of the local designers there and was teaching a piece at the symposium. And so, and Jean, the owner of the attic, Needlework, had asked people to bring, finishes for show and tell. And so this is one of the pieces that I brought. And Vicky was so sweet. So she saw my piece, loved it. And so she asked me if I was interested in seeing the original. So she actually brought the original antique sampler the next day. And so I actually got to take a photo of my Isabella with the original Isabella, which was super fun. And the only other thing I want to say about this, other than I love it, I'm so happy I framed her, is mine has this thin red line here, this little back stitched line in red. And this is what's in the original, and it is in the chart as well. However, it is really difficult to see in the chart. And had I not been, looking for something else in the instructions, I think I was looking for information on these little berries. But had I not been looking very closely at the instructions, I would have never seen the backstitch this line in this color. And you will notice, if you've seen anybody else's, that 99% of the people do not do that backstitched line. And I think it's probably because they just missed it on the chart. But I saw it and I just kind of loved the idea of her putting in this random red line down at the bottom of her piece. And so I went ahead and stitched that. And so I love that little red line. Anyway, so there's Isabella. So she will be hanging up too soon, which I am thrilled about. So more to come. I did think about bringing some other pieces out, occasionally to show you some of my other finishes, older finishes, but I thought this might be a fun way that as I frame things, I can bring them out, show them on the video, things that you may not have seen if you haven't been a reader of my blog, or whatever. So as I frame them, I will share. And I have been blogging since 2006. So this is my in June was my 10-year blogiversary, if you can believe it. So I have lots of finishes that are hanging in the closet that I hope to have framed soon. So it's just a matter of matching the frame to the piece and getting them done. So that's been fun. It was a good thing to do while I had some time off, is to frame those pieces, because I could take my time with it and I didn't feel rushed. So that's all my framing. And so let's talk about whips. So I worked a little bit on Anniversaries of the Heart since you saw it last. And I don't remember what it looked like the last time you saw it, but I finished filling in this side of the house and the roof, and I started filling in the front of the house, and then I got bored with that. So I skipped down here and I started to stitch in this swan, and I've actually had to rip this swan out like 3 times because I clearly cannot follow directions and pay attention to what I'm doing. So, but hopefully I've got him in there correctly this time, and I can continue to make some forward progress instead of backwards progress. So, but like I said, tiny little bit of work on that. Mostly I worked on him, worked on that while I was at Guild. So, and then the other thing that I worked on, Tut is using this as a pillow, so I'm going to have to move it. Raven bag. And so I did work on my Blacked Sky some more. And I continue to be completely enamored with this piece. Completely enamored. So this is how far I got. And I really wish that you could see the color better on this, because this green up here is called Envy, and it is like this bright, lovely green that doesn't really come across on the camera because my lighting is so bad. But I absolutely am adoring this piece. I really did not want to put it away. I've had so much fun stitching on it, and now that I have one of my 2 Silken Colors threads that I was missing, I got to do these flowers, which were in that Tuscan olive color, as well as the little cornerstones here were in Tuscan olive, and I got to use a new color. This is Spanish Coffee. And then down here there's some more of that Tuscan olive that comes in. So I've had a fun time stitching on this. Love it, love it. And I hated to put it away. And so this is just a reminder, this is Blacked Sky by the Primitive Needle, sadly no longer in print. And I pulled this out yesterday and actually took it to my sampler guild with me, because we were having a program about morning samplers. And so this is, of course, a morning sampler. So I brought that with me. I didn't really stitch that much last night. Actually stitched on Anniversaries of the Heart while I was there, but I brought this with me. And oh, my needle minder fell off. I'm gonna have to fix that before it does damage or something. So, Blacked Sky, and I will give Ted his pillow back if he wants it. And then the other thing, so this is a new start, and so I talked last time about being completely obsessed with starting Village of Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Handlings, and that I really wanted to do a Sal, and Emily from Eclectic Possessions was so sweet. She was like, you know, hey, I haven't finished mine, so feel free to jump in. And then, so I decided I was going to start on September 1st, and Abby Bella Stitch jumped in and said, hey, I will Sal with you. So Abby jumped in, and then we've had a few other folks jump in and join us, which I'm thrilled by. Nicole from Nicole's Needlework has picked hers back up and is working on hers. And so far I'm having a super fun time stitching on it and seeing everybody else's progress on it as well. which is so fun. So if you want to join in, please feel free. You know, of course, we're doing it on Instagram, and the hashtag that excuse me, that Emily and the Tattooed Stitcher set up originally is, I think, is HRH Village Sal, is the hashtag that we're using. And so feel free to jump in. Several people have said, you know, hey, I've already got a different Hawk Run Hollow piece started, or one that I want to start, and so folks are joining in with Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow, or Shores of Hawk Run Hollow, or Houses of Hawk Run Hollow. So whatever. Melissa, who is Gulf Sky on Instagram, she started, got back to working on her Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow, and she used the hashtag, I think it's Let's All Move to Hawk Run Hollow. So I told her I was commandeering that hashtag as well, because I thought it was hilarious. So let's all move to Hawk Run Hollow. So anyway, so here is my project bag for this project. It is perfectly fall appropriate, and I thought it would be fun to use this for my village whip. So this is another project bag from Sylvia, and again, if you're interested in her contact information, I'd be happy to send it to you. Just shoot me a note, leave me an email, comment on my blog, comment on YouTube, whatever, and I can get you her contact info. She does live in Germany, but she can ship through US mail or German mail, and it's really not very expensive, so don't let that freak you out. I probably should have brought my drink in here. Anyway, so she made this bag. This is actually out of a laminate fabric, which is why you're seeing that reflection. And this is a Tula Pink fabric. This is called The Birds and the Bees. And here's a better picture of one of those trees. And in case you're new and I have not inducted you into the Why Tula Pink is Fantastic Club yet, let me elaborate. So Tula Pink is a quilting fabric designer, and she also designs patterns, quilt patterns. But one of the things that I absolutely love about her fabrics is all of the little hidden animals in it. So of course you see these birds, these butterflies, the little bees, etc. But when you get closer, little mice or rat, whichever, these little half, apple slices that I like, dragonflies, big bumblebees. So I love that she hides all sorts of things in her fabrics. I just find that fun. So anyway, here's the inside fabric. This is actually quilting cotton. It's another Tula Pink fabric. And then in here I've got my chart, etc. So here is Village of Hawk Run Hollow, which is what we're doing. And Carriage House Samplings is the designer. And there's a better look at the chart. And so I'm starting with block 1, which is this block right here. So there's 12 blocks. So my plan is to do a block a month, which seems totally doable. However, I know from past experience working on shores that these blocks are they are deceptive. There is a lot more to them than they appear to have in them. You think, oh, I could knock that right out. But yeah, there's a lot of stitching in these blocks. So I'm hopeful that in a year I can finish this piece, but we'll see how it goes. And I am using DMC for this. I only pulled the DMC for block 1. I figure I'll, you know, pull for each block as I do it so that I don't have scads of threads out, but pretty fall colors. And the chart actually calls for NPI, which are silks. They are not variegated silks, they are solids. So, you know, the DMC equivalent is, you know, you're not really losing anything by using DMC other than it is, of course, cotton rather than silk. But it's not like, you know, other silks where you would lose the variegation that you really want if you went with the DMC. So anyway, here is my start. And so I started this on the 1st, and so I've worked on it for 6 days. And we'll work on it some more tonight after I finish recording. And like I said, I'm using DMC, and this is on 36 count vintage light exemplar. And I really prefer stitching on 40 count over 36, but I had this in my stash. And it's a weird size because it was actually for a specific piece that I don't think I'm going to stitch now. So anyway, I think this piece is like 20 by 27 or something. So works for for village. So here is my start, and I'm absolutely loving it, having so much fun stitching on it. And really the only change that I have made is that for the background of this letter, I'm doing this over 1 in 10 stitch. And the reason that I'm doing that is because a friend of mine, when she did her village, she did that same thing. She did the background of these letters, and I think she also did some of her windows over 1 10 stitch, and it turned out fabulous. And I really like the effect that it gives. It really makes that letter pop, and sometime in like 10 years I will have that all filled in. So there's a little closer view of that. I think there's some cat hair in there too. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. So I'm finally getting down to this fun part. I actually got this little fish stitched. I stitched a little bit this morning, so I got him stitched this morning and got this plant in. So, and this needle minder that I'm using was actually one of the goodies that we got from EGA seminar a few years ago when I went, and it actually has a needle that kind of goes through the holes in it. It's a glass bead, and so there's a needle that actually goes through those holes, but I took it out because I was afraid that in my bag it would cause trouble. So, but I thought it was a good color for my fall stitching. So there you go. That's how my block 1 is coming along. And I am hopeful that I can get the block finished up in the next few days, and then I will probably switch back to Anniversaries of the Heart and try to get that block finished up, because good Lord, that's taken forever. So that's all I have for whips. Those are really the only things I've worked on in the past couple of weeks. So let's talk about stash enhancement. There's not a lot, but a couple of things. So I did go and pick up the Halloween edition of Just Cross Stitch magazine. Frankly, I feel like this should be included in my subscription. the fact that I have a subscription, but yet I have to go and hunt this down annoys me. Even more than the magazine is annoying me under its new ownership. Because I don't know about y'all, but I don't need to get a membership invitation to AARP with my stitching magazine, nor do I need to get a clothing catalog. I don't know who they think their readers are, but neither of those things do I find appropriate to come with my magazine. So, my subscription may come to an abrupt halt here shortly, particularly if I have to go out and get the one of 2 issues that I really want each year. So, anyway, I went and picked this up, and the reason that I picked it up is for, I probably should have marked this so you didn't have to, oh, I kind of liked this. Kind of liked that. So in one of the stitching groups, somebody was saying, what is this word? And this is kind of what sparked my conversation earlier about rot. So this says rot 2016. W-R-O-U-G-H-T, rot. So anyway, I kind of liked this. But that's not why I bought the magazine. But I was, you know, I'm always pleased when I find more than one thing in here that I find worthwhile. Okay, so I had to have it because of this. Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Cute little kawaii piece. And I'm, you know, I am not typically a cutesy Halloween person. I am a creepy Halloween person, but I cannot resist anything that the pumpkins put out. I just can't. And there was one other piece in here. Oh, here it is. I kind of like this. Because I really liked the key. So anyway, you know, there's of course the Halloween ornaments in here. Most of them are nothing that I'm excited about, although this one's not bad. Ritual and Spell. But anyway, so I went and picked this up because I had to have the frosted pumpkin piece. And then I have a couple of gifts that I got. So my friend Kim gave me this chart. This is called Peaceful Paradise by Midsummer Night Designs. And I have had this chart on my wish list forever. And it's a model that they have up at the attic, and I think that's where I saw it. And I just love it. I love the moon and the sun, and it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. So my sweet friend Kim saw that this was on my wish list, my stitching wish list on Pinterest that I pinned 5 years ago. So she was like, you probably already have this, but no, I don't, because I don't work that fast. So she gifted me with this and a few other things, but I was so pleased to get this. So I had to share that with you. There is another piece also by Midsummer Night Designs, that I think is called Heavens Above, that I do have, and I think those pieces would be really pretty together. So, and then my friend Mary gifted me with this. So this is a little sewing case, a hexagon sewing case, and the pattern is My Hexy Friend. It's a sewing kit pattern, and I believe you can get it on Craftsy. And the designer on Instagram is Sew Not, K-N-O-T, crochet. And so she made me this out of Tula Pink salt water, and I'm just in love with that octopus. I mean, he's just fantastic. And I love this kind of steampunky button here that looks like a gear. I love that. And here's the back with the anchor. Fantastic. So, and then on the inside, and I've already loaded this up with stuff, which is why it's bulging. But you can really pack a lot in here. So this is also salt water, different fabrics, different colorways. And there's a little hexagon here for you to put your needles, which I've already done. There is this pocket, which is a snap pocket. And I have already put my hexagons in here. This is for my Hex on the Beach quilt that I'm working on, English paper piecing, and I explained all about that in one of my previous videos, so you can go back and look at that. But so I have all of my pre-cut stuff in here, the ones that are squares instead of hexagons are because this fabric did not come in my kit. So a wonderful, wonderful person took pity on me and sent me some of this fabric and the others that I was missing. So anyway, so I've got these in here in my little snap pocket. And then over here in the zipper pocket, I have my straw needles, I have my glue stick, I have thread, I have my scissors, all that good stuff is in there. So this really does fit a whole ton of stuff, which is awesome. And I love how compact it is. I love that she used the saltwater fabric, which is what my Hex on the Beach kit, of course, is being made out of. This is just so cool because I had been lugging around this big bag that has all of my Hex on the Beach kit stuff in it. And this gets a little unwieldy. So I love that I can take this just on the go and have a few little hexies that I can work on, basting or stitching together, whichever. And I don't have to carry this big bag. So this bag I made, and I took this panel that I bought in Paris at the needlework show that I went to there. I couldn't pass it up because it has a bat with a bow tie and these scarab beetles and stars. I just love it. So anyway, I made that, and then I used this Juliana Horner fabric with the roses, and then on the inside I have that snake trail, I think is the fabric. And so in case you're wondering, here is my Hex on the Beach so far. here it is. I haven't showed this in a while, but I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 7 rows, it looks like. And that color is really not great. This is like a coral color, which is hard to see in here, but anyway. So hexagons, English paper piecing. There you go. One of these days I will get back to working on this, and now that I have my hexy friend, I can do it on the go, which is awesome. So thank you to my sweet friends for the birthday gifts. I love them. So that's it for the stash enhancement. Nothing else came in the door. So let's see. I think the only other thing I was going to talk about is books. So I finished reading Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater, which is, I think it's like the first book in a trilogy, and I loved it. It was really good. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It took me a lot longer to read it than it should have, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I actually finished it yesterday morning. So, and so I picked up The Raven Boys, also by Maggie Stiefvater. And I think I mentioned this last time or the time before that I've been trying to check this book out from the library for like months. And every time I go, it's checked out. And I've tried to put it on hold a couple of times, and finally, I got the email that my number came up and I could get it. Because seriously, I would like check to see if it was there. It was there. I would go to the library and it was gone. So I finally just put a hold on it. Because, you know, that keeps me from having to stalk the people that are over in that section that I think are holding it to see if they're going to put it down. But anyway, so I just started that this morning. I'm literally, I'm maybe like half a page in because I just couldn't focus enough this morning. I was a little tired, and the cats were all over the place, and so I actually ended up just stitching this morning instead of reading like I normally do first thing. So anyway, so I read a little bit of that. I'll read some more tomorrow, and I'm sure it will be really good. I'm really looking forward to it. So that's what I've been reading. That's what I've been stitching and working on. And yeah, I have a few more days left of vacation, which I'm thrilled by to no end. So, and I've been watching some Flosstubes here and there. I'm still working on getting caught up with Tracy P. And then I will move on to someone else. I haven't decided who yet. But, I'd like to have the whole backstory. So I can't just start with the one that's new. I have to go back to the beginning. So, but I've been really enjoying her videos, especially like the vlogs, whatever you want to call them. Those are really fun. I enjoyed it when Emily did it on hers. And so I might think about doing something like that sometime, if that's something you guys would be interested in seeing. So anyway, that's it for me. And thank you guys again for watching and commenting and liking and sending me little notes. I really appreciate it so much. You guys are awesome. So, oh, and I meant to mention, so the village stitch along, obviously I'm doing that on IG, on Instagram, but also if you are on Facebook in the cross stitch finish line group, Abby set up a SAL event for our monthly check-ins for the SAL. So if you want to go over there and join, please feel free, and we would love to have you. So that's all I got. So again, I'm Michelle Cozyegg, and you can find me on all of the places as Cozyegg, Pinterest and Flickr and Instagram and Twitter and Periscope and Ravelry, all those places, YouTube, etc. My blog is at cozyegg.cozyeggdesigns.com, and all of the show notes and everything, anything I've talked about, specifics, links, etc., all of that will be on my blog. I try to get that blog post up the same day as I upload to YouTube, so that it's there in case you have any questions or anything. And I'm going to go and see if I can find something to drink. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate you watching, and thanks for the sweet shout outs. I appreciate you mentioning me on Facebook and on Instagram and in your videos, etc. I really appreciate it. So thanks, guys. I will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.